Have you ever heard of someone losing their job because they refuse to have some sort of controversial injection, or maybe because they decided that they were going to hold conservative viewpoints? Maybe they believe in Jesus. Whatever the matter might be, people all over America have lost their jobs simply for being who they are. But one guy is trying to combat this crisis with a very unique website. We're going to talk about that and more with Andreww, CEO of Redballoon.work, in just a bit. I'm Jonathan Koeppel, and you're watching Logic and Common Sense, and we're getting started right now.
How do you get canceled? Two genders have a sense of morality. Is this real life? I'm Jonathan Koeppel, and you're listening to Logic and Common Sense.
For those of you joining us for the first time, I am Jonathan Koeppel, Louisiana's favorite fire teacher, and we're here live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube multiple times a week, giving hot takes on breaking news, talking with very special guests about real-life issues affecting present-day society, and diving into relevant topics that aren't always easily understood. I want to thank everybody for watching. Please hit the like, share button, write a comment, and let's welcome my friend, Andreww.
Hey, how are you? Nice to see you, Jonathan.
Yeah, good to see you again. Now, I need help pronouncing your last name.
It is terrifying. There's no way around it. So it's Crapuchettes. Like, it has a whole variety of swear words built into it. And I'll be honest, everything you can imagine that has been done, that could be done with this name, has been done with this name. And I kind of like it because then, my kids, I remember explaining to them what some of those words meant out of the context of our last name. And my boys were like, yes, we have the best name ever. So, yeah, my girls didn't have the same reaction. But yes, Andreww Crapuchettes.
Crapuchettes. Got it.
Crapuchettes. That's it. Yep.
Crapuchettes. Okay, I got it. We're not gonna mess that one up.
Yeah,
so tell me a little bit about your background.
Yeah. So I was a tech CEO. Actually, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. I did the whole .com thing. I got tired of California because they have liberals and traffic there. And so I decided I will move to Idaho as an early adopter of getting out of the state of California. So I left in the middle of the .com era around 2000, so a long time ago. Moved up to Idaho and realized there weren't a lot of good jobs here. And so I've been blessed to start a number of businesses. Many of them I ended up selling, I had a 3D printing business I sold to Stryker. I had a student information business that I sold to the employees. So I've been blessed to do a lot of those things. Now, what's really cool about selling a business is you get a big check. The bad thing is you lose control. And so the business that I had started with two other economists and built into a international multi-million-dollar SaaS business, the board said, you know what, you're a little too conservative and Christian for our liking. We're going to need you to move on to new opportunities, which is a fancy way of saying you're fired. And so I went through this process of like reeling, I spent 20 years building this business, had a lot of friends there, a lot of opportunities. Not my favorite thing, obviously, right? And it was clear that if I was a CEO who was making them a lot of money in a growing technology company and I could lose my job for that, who else is going to lose their job just because they stick with their guns and stay with their beliefs? And so that's why I started Redballoon.work. I thought if I could be a blessing to all the people who are being sidelined from their career, from their vocation, because they actually have a belief system that they're not willing to walk away from, then I could really put America in a better spot. Because when you're broken down at work, when you're not allowed to live your values out loud at work, it has an impact on every other aspect of your life, right? It's a vocation. Of course it does. And we found that to be true as we've been able to place thousands of Americans, thousands of patriots in jobs with employers that are not woke, who actually respect their values. I get these thank you notes from people saying, you've changed the trajectory of my family, or you've saved my marriage, because a job is really an important aspect of who someone is. So Redballoon.work is just an opportunity. It's like employment matchmaking for the conservative world, for the freedom-loving economy. So anyway, that's probably more of a background than you wanted, but there's my background. That's why I did it, and I'm sticking with the story.
Wow, that is awesome. So you've created the match.com for jobs with non-woke employers.
That's right. That's right. And every employer that's on here, and it's been encouraging because we've only been doing this for a year, and we have over 2,100 employers that have signed a pledge that they think the Constitution still matters and applies to everybody, including their current and future employees. And that also applies to medical privacy. So if you are an employer that believes that your employees should have a conversation with their doctor, not their HR department, about what they put in their body, then you are the right employer for Redballoon.work. If you're an employer who's not going to put your employees through DEI training or CRT training or any of the alphabet soup of woke training that a lot of these people have to go through, then you're a great employer for us. And if you're on Redballoon.work, you actually get access to like the best employees, those hardworking conservatives that aren't going to be a snowflake in the HR department, but are just going to show up and do their job. Right. It's been exceptional. The stories we've heard from the employer side. They're like, every employee that I hire through Redballoon.work is cleansing to my culture. They're actually like, it makes everybody better because it just ups our game. It puts us in a position where we're going to succeed as a business because we have the right people on the bus driving value for our organization.
Wow. That's awesome because I've never gotten to talk with somebody on the other end of like Indeed or LinkedIn or these other job boards. You have the job website connection organization, and you're getting to hear the stories from both sides, right? From the job seekers and the ones that have the jobs. And to be able to hear that and then share those experiences is absolutely amazing. I'm curious to know, because it's been wild for a lot of people over the last year. What is the most incredible story you've heard so far? I'm sure you've got something.
I mean, this wokeness in the workplace, you have no idea. I'll give you a couple of stories.
All right.
From people who have just been through the ringer. There was one lady who she actually worked at Deloitte, and she said she was in the middle of her CRT training or DI training. I don't remember, one of these just horrible woke trainings. So she's going through this training and being told for 2 hours that she's a terrible person because she's white, and that she's a racist because she's white. And so we get to the end of this training, and she's like, and everyone's just demoralized. And then the trainer kind of in a nonchalant way says, I wish all those unvaccinated people would go to an island and die together. Right? This is an American saying this to other Americans in a corporate setting. I wish all the unvaccinated people would go to an island and die together. And so, but the good news is this person that was telling me the story, she's like, I don't like this job that much anyway. And it's kind of my moment. So she's like, yeah, I'm never going to get that job. And like the room's dead silent. Like everyone's like, oh no. But then 2 other people also raise their hand and say, yeah, guess what? I'm not going to either. And I think the lesson there is when you're brave, you give courage to those who are around you, right? And if you just let those kind of comments sit without pushing back, the left will continue to win. Another terrible story is from a lady at Microsoft. She said that she
Microsoft, like Bill Gates, Microsoft.
Bill Gates, Microsoft. She was a junior vice president there, and she said she had a flag for her background for Teams. A flag for her background, and she was told to take that down because it was triggering other employees. Right? It's white supremacy. I mean, don't you know that's the whole point of America is white supremacy? And so she's like, "What in the tarnation?" And so the next day, she says a coworker has a picture of a black man being lynched, and it says, "A good man died at your hands today." Right? It's right out of that CRT playbook. The CRT is not just in our classrooms, it's in our corporations. And not only was that image of a black man being lynched, which is horrific, not only was it tolerated, it was celebrated at Microsoft. They're like, oh, you're so brave to realize that all of us are racist. All of us are doing terrible things. And we should all just have guilt every single day. Guilt that we can't deal with, guilt that we can't do anything about. We're just supposed to mire in it, right? So like, imagine working in that kind of culture. Imagine showing up every day, knowing that this is going to be jammed down your throat. And if, I heard one guy who was at an employer in Boston, and all the employees were told over BLM, over COVID vaccines, silence is violence. If you don't say the right thing, if you don't toe the party line, then you're the one who is causing the violence. It's not those riots. It's you're the one, right? And so when you live in that culture, what is that doing? Well, that is tearing you down as a person so that you're not going to be brave in your family, in your community, in your church, because you're just torn down every day. And so that's where we want to come alongside those workers and say, look, be brave, be courageous, come out conservative in your workplace. And if it costs you your job, come on over to Red Balloon, and you're going to find an employer that will not tear you down every day, but will build you up and make you a better person and turn you into the cultural warrior that America needs today. And if we can do that at scale, just think what that does for this country.
That would change the game completely, because I know tons of people, they're job seekers. They have a decent background, they have experience, they have education, great fit for most companies, right?
Yeah.
But they're very concerned, if I go into work, will I have to do equity training? Will I have to be told I'm a racist? Will I have to conform to rainbows and unicorns every day and glitter and having a trans party in the office? There's all these things that are really, it's unfortunate, but this is real life, and people are very concerned about this. And so I think what you offer, what you have, is very unique in the fact that you're not going to have these same concerns with companies that are on your site, from my understanding.
That's right. That's right.
I can just tell you, there's a lot of people out there that just wish they were in a better place, a better company, because this wokeness is really, it's bad for business. It's Absolutely. Really bad for business. I would say that wokeness, I remember, so I used to be a teacher, and there was a program called Brain Pop, and Brain Pop is extremely woke. They've got videos for kids, and some of the videos are awesome, explaining photosynthesis, talking about maybe the founding fathers. But then there are other videos that are absolutely absurd for children, like the rainbow. What is the gay pride? Don't use a pronoun for your friend if you're not sure what their preferred pronoun is. Call that person a they, them. The police are all racist. All this nonsense. So I bring this up in a school board meeting. Now, Brain Pop sells subscriptions, so it's kind of like a video subscription. And I'm telling you, this video goes viral. I show at a school board meeting what kids are watching and listening to. And just like that, I'm talking schools around America are canceling their subscription. So I'd be willing to bet that company, because of their wokeness, lost a lot of revenue.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not good for business.
It's not good for business, and it's just demoralizing to your employees. And we know that our people are our most important asset, right? Every business, every CEO has always said that. And if you're tearing your people down and demoralizing them, telling you're a racist, or you hate people, or like you can't get away from the guilt of what your skin color is, like that will significantly curtail the morale of your employees, and it will cause the productivity to go through the floor. So it is just a bad policy to not just be joyful and courageous at work. So we want to get back to that, and we want to help facilitate that for everybody.
So I'm going to pull up Red Balloon's website just to give it a look, and maybe you can walk us through it and explain like the front page and how somebody can look for work. Let's see if I pull that up.
Yeah, well, you pull it up. I'll kind of walk you through what job seekers are going to do. Look, you're going to go on there, and it's a job search. It is not going to have as many job options as an Indeed.com or a ZipRecruiter, but you're going to know that every employer on here is going to respect your values, is going to guarantee that they're not going to be woke in the workplace. And so you can search with confidence that these are going to be employers who are going to respect your values and really going to build you up as an employee. So that's the employers that are on here. Obviously, thousands of employers. There is no cost for a job seeker. You just get on here. You can put up your resume. You can put up your self-sovereign worker profile and be able to put yourself out there for employers and say, look, I am a freedom-loving employee. I'm a patriot who wants to drive value for my company. And for the company I work for, please hire me. And we've helped place thousands of people like that.
Do you have to put your pronouns anywhere on here?
We don't even have a spot for pronouns. Although we do have pronoun landmines, which is a video game that we built to make fun of all that. So if you're looking for a video game, we do have pronoun landmines if you scroll down farther on the site. So
all right. And when you're selecting, I guess you have to do the gender. Is there only two? There's two options, or do you have 1,000 options, or what do we have there?
we just had, in fact, we don't even ask you what your gender is, because we say, look, we're a meritocracy. We want to focus on, can you do the job? I actually don't even care about what your skin color is or any of those other crazy things, because that's not applicable.
That, you know, now that you're saying that, that's amazing, because I'm thinking about this. Why does it matter when somebody submits an application if they're male or female?
No, can you do the job?
If the job could be done by either or, I mean, that and skin color. I can't believe we're still doing that. So let's go back to this site. So this is your homepage. People can find jobs. There's, you know, they just, how does this work?
You can just search for jobs. If you scroll down, there's a map so you can see, and you can, you can see here's the number of employers that have signed the pledge on there. We also have a ton of resources, and these are employers that will respect your freedom. And these are new employers that are showing up every day. New jobs are showing up every day. These are opportunities for you to work for someone who actually respects your freedom. And you can see these are jobs that are all over the country. So there's no cost to an employee unless you decide you want someone to help you rewrite your resume. And then we actually have a wonderful service that will not ask you for your pronouns, will not tell you to do woke things, but will help you build a beautiful resume that gets you a better job. Because if you have a good resume, you'd be surprised how, with a higher probability of getting a great job that actually earns you a lot more money. So that's the only thing that a job seeker has to pay for. The employers, it's really straightforward, because we want to be a blessing to as many job seekers as possible. Every employer can post one job for free. So for free, you can post a job, and you can be out there in front of the largest database of patriots on the planet, right? For $200 a month, you can post a bunch of jobs. You can get access to the Freedom Academy, which is a bunch of guides and services from freedom-loving lawyers and HR people on what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do when you're building a courageous culture in your company. And then for only $1,000 a month, we will actually write your job postings for you, because nobody likes to write job postings. We will post your jobs in front of all these people. We'll put them in front of a resume database, and then we'll actually do a first cultural screen for you. So we'll do the first interview to make sure the person's not a total woke tard or someone who's going to bring terrible value to the organization. So, and we've actually seen employers being like, yeah, you know what, for $1,000 a month, I'd love you to just take care of that. Help work with us to write our job postings, figure out our culture, use that as a rubric to make sure, because what interview questions are you not allowed to ask, right? A lot of us don't know, and we're afraid we're going to get ourselves into a lawsuit. And so we have done the research and the hard work of figuring out, how do you actually screen for culture in that interview process. And so for $1,000 a month, write the job postings, put them in front of the largest database of patriots, and do your first interview for you, so that you get a relaxing experience, and you know that the people who are applying for your jobs are getting responded to right away with professionals who know what they're doing. So it's been a real blessing to a lot of these employers.
I mean, that's like a HR department outsourced for $1,000. That's pretty good.
Yeah, you compare it to how much it would cost to hire someone. We just think of it as job posting concierge service.
Wow, that's awesome. So what's the future for you guys at Red Balloon? What's in the works? What are you hoping to accomplish in the next 6 months to a year?
Yeah. So we believe that if we can help employers not only hire people, but really have a deep understanding of how to build culture. If you go on Google today and you look for HR documents, called an employee manual, offer letters, holiday lists, any of those things, you're going to get some horrible woke ideas on how you should bless your people and how you should run your company. And so we want to come alongside people who really want to build a courageous culture, a patriotic culture in their business, and that are going to win in the marketplace. As we talked about earlier, Jonathan, wokeness goes broke, right? And so if you want to win in the marketplace, what if you build a great culture? Because culture eats strategy for breakfast. What if you build a great culture? And so we're developing a ton of resources like employee manuals, offer letters, all the things that are necessary for patriot businesses to be able to focus on their business instead of all this other HR stuff, and know that it's going to be taken care of in a way that's not going to wreck their culture.
That's great. I think a lot of people don't usually mind their job position or their salary. What they really are concerned about is the environment, because a lot of places have terrible work environments.
That's right.
And if you can keep people happy, you can actually keep the people. You can keep them, and they're going to be productive, and they're not going to be miserable. And if you have happy workers, you will have a happy company, and you will have happy customers. Everything will be better. And so that is amazing.
And you'll make more money. It's just how the world works.
Yeah, more money is very important if you want to turn a profit. So that's good stuff. Well, Andreww, appreciate you sharing all of this. Redballoon.work. That's how people can find you, right? It's not redballoon.com. It's redballoon.work.
.work, because work is good and satisfying and cleansing to the soul, and com sounded too much like communist to me, and we don't want communism. We want work.
Wow, man, I don't know. I might have to get a job after this. This has been great.
There you go.
It's been a great conversation. Well, all right. Appreciate everybody watching. Please like, comment, share, visit the site redballoon.work. You guys are also on Instagram. How can they find you on Instagram?
It's at .work. It's on Instagram. We're on Twitter, all the various places, all the woke and non-woke platforms at .work. And, you know, we have a ton of resources like a daily red alert. If you want to know what's hot in the news when it comes to freedom at work, we can give you all of that stuff.
Awesome. All right, man. Well, it's been great talking with you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Nice to meet you, or nice to talk to you again, and have a great day.
All right. Have a good one. Have a good one.